Hey guys, this is a weird topic to bring up, huh? This game came out 4 years ago and I just played it. This is Harvestella. And opposed to doing a let's play of it, I don't really think I need to, considering I streamed it pretty much like from start to finish. This game took me about 51 hours to beat the main story. And I kind of want to give my grievances, but also praise the game at the same time. So, it's one of those videos, about my thought videos. Sorry, I really should have ate something beforehand. Yeah, where do I go with this one? It's basically a rune factory slash, like, RPG. Like, more so on the RPG side. There's characters, there's stories, you see everything kind of unfold in front of your eyes. And, you know, it's kind of one of those games you kind of just play and figure out if you like it or not. But for someone who has played it, and for someone who finished just the main story, I did not do any of the post-game, sadly. I kind of have ups and downs with this. Ups. It's a really good farming simulation where, like, as you progress the story, you actually get more and more things unlocked to you. That's good. What's bad about it is how you go about it. So, you have little, like, story check marks to hit, and when you hit certain story check marks, you get certain things unlocked to you. So, that sounds good, right? Not when they're all in Chapter 3, for your farm, at least. So yeah, that's not a great thing to hear. And then also each chapter is locked to its own, own thing altogether, because there's a whole book thingy. There's basically a book that you get in your farm, and it's like, hey, you can unlock certain abilities and certain recipes when you get to certain levels with certain characters. Yeah, that's not really helpful when you're trying to kind of comprehend what the game is going to be more or less about. And here's the thing, I know people praise the side quests, and I praise the side quests too. They're actually really good. But when every town has about 9 side quests and like one main quest to bring you back to the town, yeah, you're gonna find the one town you really know how to get a lot of good stuff from, and then you're gonna not go back to any other town pretty much. That's how I did it, at least. And I have one more thing to say about kind of a negative note, is the bosses. The bosses, some of them are really hard. Namely the penultimate fight. The penultimate fight and the end fight for Chapter 4, I want to say. Yeah, Chapter 4. And also, in all honesty, the game is a little too long, in my opinion. I actually do think it's a little too long. I feel like the last little bit of the game doesn't really have to be there. But yeah, no, that's fine. Upgrading your farm and upgrading your, like, little livestock area, that's fun. It's relatively cheap. You have to give, some materials for it, but it's not that bad. The characters themselves are also fantastic. If the characters didn't come in pairs. Because here's the thing, when you clear out, because this pretty much only, this grievance is only in Chapter 3 for the most part, but when you clear out an entire dungeon for that area, the 2 characters for the area become unlocked to you to be, you know, friends, and you could go talk to them, help them with their personal problems. The problem is, it kind of takes a lot of your routine, and also if you're working on a dungeon, you kind of have to, well, I mean, you don't have to, but I did this. Basically drop everything and go on a side quest with them for like a couple of days, and then you can't really do any of the progress you want to get done in the dungeon. And that's another thing about the dungeons. I heard a lot of praise about not being able to finish the dungeon in one day. I don't know how people were playing this back when the game was first out, but for most dungeons, I got through like 90% of them on day 1. And that was also like scoping the area out, like going for all the treasures and stuff. And I didn't find everything in the game. There's no way I found everything in this game. But it's just a situation where, like, I kind of agree with people, but I kind of disagree with people for review sakes. I still think the story's really good. You know, a little too much at times, where I had to constantly like take a break or like walk away from the game for a little bit to like digest what just happened. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good game. I like it. Just there's kind of one too many problems I have with like the overall pacing and story elements of the entire game. But I'm me, and I'm not saying you guys are gonna be like me. If you guys are like me, you guys might not like this game either. Except, as I said, I just like, as I said, I do like it though. So, yeah, music's actually also really good. Like, that's one of the biggest draws to this game. I can tell people, like, even if you don't like the game, give the music a good listen to. It is really good. And this would also be a great time to tell you guys, as I said, I did do this all on Twitch. Well, not all of it. I skipped like the final chapter. Well, no, I did most of the final chapter. I just didn't do the final boss fight on stream because time restrictions mostly. But yeah, like I don't know. It's one of those situations where like it starts off super slow. Actually, if anything, I think it starts off a little too slow. Now that I think about it. Sorry, I'm trying to recall from like months ago because I played this like within the span of 2 months, give or take. Actually, no, the beginning isn't that slow. I think it really slows down when you're in chapter 5 to 6, I would say? No, 6 to 7. Yeah, 6 to 7. But yeah, no, like, there was definitely parts of the story that I felt were very gripping in the sense of spoilers. I can't talk about that, dang it. Because I was about to say, I won't try to spoil a whole lot of the story. But let's just say there's a certain character that I grew very fond of, and when certain things happened, I actually felt kind of bad for the character. But yeah, if you guys want, the entire playlist should be on my YouTube of me streaming it. And, I kind of hope that this game gets a sequel or a spiritual successor, because I think it's really good. Despite the fact that none of the major cutscenes have voice acting and a couple other things like that, and I kind of wish that the major story scenes had cutscenes or had voice acting, just because the characters have voices to begin with. And like I know it's a standard A title. It's not a AAA title. It's not a AA title. Or is it a AA title? I think it's a AA title. I don't remember. I looked up reviews of this like yesterday to get myself prepared for this review that I was going to do, and I forgot pretty much all of the things I listened to last night. Great, that's what I get for recording at like, what, 7 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, that's 7 o'clock in the morning. I might redo this, but I might not. But yeah, these are just generally my thoughts, where it's like, I kind of wish that we get a spiritual successor, because the game isn't too hard, it's not too easy, unless you make it really easy, because that's what I did by accident. Oh, you know what? I haven't talked about the combat either. The combat is extremely sluggish, even for the bosses. Because here's the thing, in most games like, I don't know, Rune Factory, or Stardew Valley, they slow down the enemies to give you a really good chance and a really good idea of like what to do. In Rune Factory, you could dodge cancel. So you could dodge while swinging your weapon and kind of like get stuff going that way. In this game, there is a dodge button. You cannot dodge cancel. You have to finish your attack, wait for like a half a second, and then dodge. I have lost many fights that way, and I reset many fights because of that. Because it wasn't a stat thing, it wasn't an equipment thing, it was just the fact that the combat is kind of one-dimensional. Well, two-dimensional, because, yeah. Because, like, I feel like it's a 3D environment with, like, an entire analog movement and whatnot, but you're kind of locked to a certain action, one or the other. And when you play at the end of the game, like the very end, right before the credits, it kind of makes sense. It kind of doesn't, though. Once again, I'm not going to spoil anything for people who never played the game, and I'm not going to spoil anything for myself. Or spoil anything for myself. I just finished the game. That's not how that works. But yeah, no, like, I walked away with this game feeling pretty good. It's just, you know, I think it's a little too long, mostly because of the pacing and how the characters are and the interactions, and then side quests only trigger when you get to certain areas in the story, and I still have to do certain side quests. I definitely didn't finish all of them. But yeah, no, now that the main quest is over, I can also just go back and like kind of leisurely play the game for my own pleasure. And I don't know, I might stream more of this game like in the far off future, but I might not, because as much as I like games like these, I don't think they make a lot of good LP games either. So, I mean, if I ever LP this game, which is kind of in the cards, kind of not, I'll probably do a lot more research and kind of like see if I could streamline the ideas a bit better for you guys. Also, not to mention, like most games like these, like Rune Factory and others, I finished the entire game in less than a calendar year in the game. I ended on winter. I don't remember what day on winter. Hold on. Let's see if I can even find that. Winter 7th. So yeah. I beat the game on winter 7th? I thought I beat the game on winter 10th. But yeah, that's when I started the final fight. Well, the game pauses the time when you're in boss fights and stuff. But that's when I started the final fight. That's when I finished it. So yeah. I don't know, if you guys want to see the final fight, it's actually a really cool final fight design-wise. It's just not really good final fight, like, mechanical-wise. But yeah, if they actually do a spiritual successor for this game, I kind of hope that there's more quality of life upgrades for the game, where it's like, combat's a little bit easier, or like you could have a dodge while you're in mid-action or something. It's just one of those situations where it's just like, a small tweak to it could be really good. Oh, and also the job levels. Right, there's job levels in this game. I completely forgot about that because I honestly don't think about it a whole lot. Mostly because I feel like the weapons don't really... Well, I mean, you can take your weapons to a smith and upgrade them, but I feel like they don't really affect you or your playstyle all that much. Because, like, I think my main character has a level 11 weapon, I want to say. Give or take about 11. And, like, I felt like I wasn't really doing that much of a difference between level 10 and 11. I think it was, like, maybe a 2 or 3, like, hit point difference. You know, not expecting a drastic increases, but it's, like, kind of, like, your levels carry a little bit more than anything else, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I had to research a couple things like that. But, yeah, I mean, that's more or less my thoughts, where if they do a sequel, or, I mean, not really a sequel, you can't really... Can you do a sequel from this game from where it ends? Not really. They'll have to probably make a whole new world and or a definitive edition. Which, if a definitive edition happens and there's voice acting and stuff and quality of life upgrades are in there, I'll pick it up for sure. And like even now, like pick up Harvestella if you have a Switch or a PC. Pick it up on sale mostly because it's not really worth the full price of the game in my opinion. But, yeah, that's just kind of my ramblings of this game, and I liked it. So I'm leaving this review of a meh. Just a meh. I really should have just scripted this out, shouldn't I? I'll see you guys in my next review, or on my streams, or on my next Let's Play. Whatever you guys decide to watch. Until then, later.